Oh, did you? Yeah. In actual Luton? Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'll play some music.
It's a bit nicer than the next one that used to show, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, I mean, like a mood piece is sort of related, like, right? But this is just, there are other people around, it's just a nice little property. Thank you.
Is the mic on?
Is this on?
I can put it on.
Is it connected and?
Yeah, he just has to turn it up. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, yeah, this is on. You just have to talk
No, it
loud.
might be easier when we're doing the Bobbsey twins. Pam has.
Does that work?
For Pam to get the microphone and we use the other one.
Yeah.
Hello?
You want to use this one?
Hello?
So when it's
What?
like that, then it's on.
It's on.
Okay, but is it working? That's what I can't tell. Okay.
It's working.
I'm taller than Mary Lou. That's exciting. Good morning. I'm Pam Griffin-Hody, lay leader, and my pronouns are she and her.
And I'm Mary Lou McDonald, who's also a lay leader. My pronouns are she and her, and I also answer to hey you.
What's AU?
Hey, you. Hearing checked.
And I've also been known as it. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this space of Halifax Universalist Unitarians.
This year, we are without a minister for the first time in many years, but we are still here with all of our passion, love, and commitment to a better world. And the blessing of this year without a minister is that all our services will be led by diverse members of our community, and that will only serve to make our community stronger. Today's service is brought to you by members of our worship committee. And we are an open-minded, open-hearted spiritual community for curious and compassionate seekers.
As UUs, we recognize that the truths of the universe are too complex to be summed up in any one religious tradition's dogma. So instead of focusing on creeds and beliefs here, we focus on cultivating relationships, community, and responsible action in this life. And I think there's another page, but I have to put that microphone down. We draw meaning and wisdom from many sources too. The healing power of nature, the fierce call of justice work, the enlightening discoveries of science, the ancient teachings of interdependence and unity, and awe for the great mystery itself.
UUs have proclaimed for decades that love is love and love is divine, that gender and sexuality are experienced and expressed in a beautiful spectrum of possibilities. If you are new here, we welcome you. If we haven't seen you for a while, welcome back. And I can't see who's on Zoom, but of course that goes to Zoom as well. If you are new or feeling new, please introduce yourself to us now or later. I can't see who's on Zoom, of course.
No.
Same old. Judy's almost new. Hi, Judy.
You're not new anymore.
Oh. There are, I don't have any announcements. The board meets on Thursday. If anyone, wants to hang out, they're always welcome. And does Linda want to say something about tomorrow?
So we will celebrate Thanksgiving on a Monday, which is really strange to this American, but that's what we're going to do. We have a good crowd coming. We would like to set up the tables in here after service today, if there's enough muscle and people who can do stairs without toppling over to help us do that. That'll give us a head start on tomorrow. We'll seat at 3 o'clock. Please bring your contribution ready to serve, put on the table. We're not going to do any cooking in the kitchen. See you tomorrow.
And Margaret has our land and climate acknowledgement.
Before we go further, let us acknowledge that we are meeting here in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory many years ago still govern this land and remind us that we are all treaty people. We are still committed to collaboratively move towards truth, reconciliation, and equity for not only the Indigenous people, but also the Black and other communities of color with whom we share this land. And now this world we all share is suffering from climate change. Everywhere we look, there is evidence of changes to the landscape and atmosphere, but also evidence of the action that people from all walks of life and culture are taking. Today, we have much to be thankful for when we realize how many things have changed and are continuing to change very rapidly, all of which reduce the production of carbon emissions. The promotion of electric vehicles, the increase in infrastructure to support cyclists, the development of green hydrogen, scientists working to change concrete, that emits fewer carbon emissions, the spread of home vegetable gardens and laundry you're seeing on the clotheslines now, electric buses, heat pumps, regenerative agriculture, thousands and thousands of changes to lifestyles around the world that will help the population of the globe reduce carbon emissions. Life will have to be very different, but in the long run, the changes will benefit all life on the planet. Today, let's be thankful.
I now invite you to take a few deep breaths. We enter into this time that we call worship, where we return with intention to the things that are worthy of our attention, and we do this by lighting a chalice, which Pam is now doing carefully. Got it first time. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths.
Happy Thanksgiving. You may have seen in the newsletter that the topic of today's service is complaints, compliments, and community. The Thanksgiving conversation topic came up jointly with Mary Lou. We hope to make you think a little, and we hope that you will all feel thankful together for our collective blessings. Today, I'm thankful in particular for Mary Lou, who helped plan this service. And I'm also thankful that and if you ever want to do a service, remember this in your heart, that those who plan the service get to choose the music. And we both are not particularly fond of Here Together and decided to give it a miss this morning. And mostly on Thanksgiving, I'd like to say thanks for being part of this wonderful community of connection and love, and read the words of the World Hunger Grace. For food in a world where many walk in hunger, for friends in a world where many walk alone, for faith in a world where many walk in fear, we give our humble thanks. Our opening hymn in honor of Thanksgiving is number 68 in the gray hymnal.
Stand if you wish. I'll let you find it there. Come, ye thankful people, come, praise a song of harvest home. Fruit and crops are gathered in, safe before the storms begin. God, our Maker, will provide for our need to be supplied. Come to God's own temple, come, raise a song of harvest home. All the world is but a field, giving for a fruitful yield. Wheat and tares together sown, if for joy or sorrows grown. First the blade and then the ear, and the full corn shall appear. God of harvest, grant that we wholesome grain and pure may be. I don't know. Yeah, what is
I
the
think I
chair?
do know in context. It's I'll have to look
Wheat
it up.
and tears.
And I don't have my mini computer. I left in the office for fear it would ring. We'll find out later. Oh, Jessica is going to use her mini computer right now.
Mary Lou would know, she's really learning.
I think it's like sharing or something, but you look it up. Yeah, I know, the tear shop was a shop where you could buy in bulk. I'm wondering, I don't know, maybe it's the same as gleaning when you go and you get the
Vetch?
rest.
Oh,
Oh, it's a weight.
a weed, resembling wheat. So that's would work. It would be wheat and tears. Yeah, it's more wheat. It's like a
Or the
weed.
weight, maybe it's the weights of the wheat and their share of
Maybe.
the harvest. Okay, well, thank you for that interlude. This is the time in our service for Time of All Ages. And I was going to go to the work of going to the library and spending several hours, as it always takes me to find a book. And then I couldn't bring myself to spend the time because we don't have children usually. So what I did, in case there was, the excitement of an actual child, is that I wrote a little story from my own childhood that I would share and I would read if there were children here.
Read it.
But
We're all ages.
really,
Yes.
this is what I get for not wanting to spend 3 hours in the library, apparently, and whipping off something in 5 minutes. So I'll come here and you can all come and sit on the floor. And I'll use the hand microphone.
That microphone is off.
And you might just read the first chapter.
It's not very long.
I'm not saying all
I will. I'll do it.
Red button.
We've got to have the spirit.
It's saying red button, but you have to.
No, turn off that one.
This one?
Yep.
Does that work? Okay. Okay.
You have to squirm. Oh, I have to squirm.
No, you children are very, very well behaved and attentive. Okay. When I was a child, growing up in Halifax, Thanksgiving was a time of saying goodbye. It was my real goodbye to summer. It was a long weekend and we closed the cottage. Now, I belonged to a family that was at the same time very small and very large. I had no siblings and no relations closer than an island in New Brunswick. It wasn't the kind of place that in those days you could, even today, that you can go for a weekend because it took 2 days to get there and 1 full day to get back. There at this place we could never get to at Thanksgiving, there were a huge family of aunts and uncles, cousins and grandparents, but here in Nova Scotia it was just my parents and myself. And so we went to the cottage on Thanksgiving, which was on the ocean on the Northumberland Strait, and sometimes it was still warm enough to go in the water up there on Thanksgiving weekend. And my mother would make a Thanksgiving dinner with all of the trimmings for 3 people, and one of them a child. And I spent my time saying goodbye to all of my favorite places until the spring. And those Thanksgiving weekends, I used to make sure that I went to every single place just once. There was a grove of tamarack trees, the local name being Hackmatack, with a clearing soft with needles. And I'd take my shoes off, even if it was cold, and just feel them on my feet just one last time before giving up freedom for a city and its formalities for the rest of the winter. And there was a driftwood tree with roots on the beach, and I used to sit there and read. There was the secret place in the woods known only to me where I had seen a fairy ring one time. And there was a favorite climbing tree, a big pine that had branches like ladders. And I used to climb that tree and jump onto a roof and read comics and with glass bottles of pop. And I don't know how I survived my childhood sometimes. And if there were children here, I would admonish them. Please don't climb trees and jump from the trees to roofs of cottages carrying comics and glass bottles of pop. There was this huge Adirondack chair where I can't even sit in Adirondack chairs anymore, at least I can't get out of them. But I used to sit in there cross-legged, and that was another favorite reading place. And then that weekend, I nagged my father not to put the chair away until the very, very last second. is it had to go in the shed, along with the barbecue and the big kettle that we used for corn and lobster boils. And on Thanksgiving Day, on Monday, we'd have to get up early and pack the car and drive back to Halifax. And in those days, it took about 3.5 hours. It doesn't anymore, but when I was a child, you had to drive all the way through Truro. The highway didn't go all the way like it does now. And then we said one final goodbye to summer. But when we say goodbye to summer, we say hello to all the good things that fall and winter bring. And as an if a nod to that, in my memories, this happened every single year. That when we left Halifax on Friday, the trees in the city were mostly green. But when we turned into our driveway in the afternoon of Thanksgiving Monday, the trees were almost completely orange and red and celebrating the end of summer. Next time, though, I'll go to the library. Oh, Shripad, you're so sweet. Okay. We need people to do RE. Mary, we didn't discuss how we were going to do this. Mary Lou, do you want to read it and I'll do the microphone, or? Okay. We bring our hearts into this sacred space of community, and we open them up to each other, for each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, so that those of us who are happy and well might share our joy and see it multiply in others. And so those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process and make meaning of all that life brings. This, our communal well, holds all of our stories. It is the place we come to be held and loved. The water reminds us of our connection to each other, to all life, to the earth itself. So if you have a story, a joy, sorrow, or a complex truth on your heart that needs to be spoken in community, we invite you to share. And we invite you to drop a stone into our well of community to mark your story and remind you that you are not alone. And Mary Lou will come around with the mic if you don't want to come up. The mic is necessary for our Zoom people to hear. But I have the first stone that I'm going to put in because I got an email last night. We have a brand new small member of our congregation, Flannery Caitlin Lynch, who was born on the 4th of October, and she looks forward to coming with her mom and meeting us soon.
The congregation has had a baby.
Yes, we did.
We watched that child develop.
Yeah, I guess I want to share my joy that this is the first year in 5 years I've gotten to spend. The mic's not turned on. Is it on? How's that? Yellow light.
Turn the yellow light off. Turn it off.
Sure. How
Here.
do that?
Here. It's, you accidentally pressed it when.
Oh, I did
There we
when I
go.
held it. Yeah, okay. So, touch there. Okay, so I'll start again. I want to share my joy that this is the first year, I guess in 5 years, since my son went into basic training, that I've gotten to share Thanksgiving with him and with his girlfriend and her family. So it was really wonderful. And
You can put your own stone in the...
yeah, and I guess I have great sorrow this morning hearing about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict heating up again.
Well, I can do a double one. I'll get the sorrow bit over first. Last Tuesday morning, a friend phoned to say goodbye, and then he took Maid and was relieved of his pain and distress. But a chunk of my life went too. So I have to acknowledge a long friendship. The good news, and I've been meaning to say this for a few weeks, you've all heard me say for years that I was writing a book. The book's now out and published and for sale. So 3 people have already suggested new projects for me, which at my age is flattering. So there's a stone for the good news. And if nobody else has anything, I will find a stone for all the things we haven't said, good, bad, that we have kept in our hearts, for all the sorrows and all the joys in all the people. And as Judy says, for all the victims of conflict in our world this weekend.
If you read the order of service this morning, you'll see that there are 2 reflective hymns to preface our 2-person reflections. And the first one is 354 in the gray hymnal. And we traditionally sing this hymn sitting, but as always, you should do what is comfortable to you. And Mary Lou, I'll push this in because you're on next.
354. Not really. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe want to do all 4 verses. Really? Oh, okay. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come to there we go. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our joy being together. And in our search for peace, may we finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Sorry?
No, that was for something else.
Oh,
That was for sound. Oh, okay, but she still has her stand up. Because she doesn't know how to turn it. We can turn it off. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, there.
okay. On this Thanksgiving Sunday, we are all grateful for this place, this faith community, and each other. That said, it doesn't mean we can't make it better. This seems to be a weekend of mea culpa reflection. Both the Herald yesterday and the Globe yesterday had long articles about the things that interfere with our thanks and urge us on to other things, better things. We're part of a trend. This particular service started when I ranted at the worship committee about a Sunday when everything I heard seemed to be negative or passive aggressive, and others in the room admitted that they had had similar experiences. Many years ago, when I could still be counted among the enthusiastic young, a senior minister said to me in the midst of another discussion, "Mary Lou, you'll learn that Unitarians never say thank you." And that's pretty much been true. I've got scars to prove it, but it doesn't have to be true. Long-term plans for our congregation were abruptly canceled when Reverend Buffoni left in mid-contract to deal with family issues elsewhere. It was a shock, but we rallied. Everyone coped to the best of their ability on short notice to fill gaps that pop up unexpectedly. It's frustrating. We all try. Critical remarks don't encourage those who are working hard to keep us afloat. Someone suggested to me that we were niggling at each other like siblings. It's nice that we can regard each other as family, but we're not a family. You're stuck with your siblings. The congregation is a voluntary organization. There are as many varied experiences of life as there are members and friends of this community. We are all in deep need of each other's kindness and acceptance. We choose to belong here, to care both about the whole and its individual parts. It helps to remember the 3 steps in verbal social interaction. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? There's a story supposedly told by rabbis of 2 Israelites crossing the miraculously parted Red Sea. Though safe to walk on, the bottom of the sea was a bit muddy. One man stepped into it and said, "Oh, what is this muck?" The other scowled, "There's muck all over the place. This is just like the slime pits of Egypt." "What's the difference?" "Mud here, mud there, it's all the same." And so the two of them grumbled their way across the Red Sea. Because they never looked up, they never saw that on the distant shore, their people were singing songs of praise. For them, there was no miracle, only mud. Let us celebrate our miracle together and with thanks. We will now sing verses 1 and 2 of hymn 34 in the gray hymnal. Keep your hymnal handy because we will sing verse 3 later.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and noblest gain. Though I may give all I possess and striving so my love profess, but not be given my love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin.
I wasn't sure if I really wanted to talk much about compliments because it seems like a weird kind of thing, right? Compliments are sometimes empty, at least as a counter for the word complaints. I have, as one does when preparing this sort of talk, been meditating on those words, and I thought of some other words that begin with k, connections, kindness, which also thread through my thoughts. And what seems to be the general theme of this in my mind is that we need to try to be mindful at coming from a place of love more frequently than we sometimes do. The other day I was at the dentist. I was just getting a simple cleaning. My regular dental hygienist was on vacation, so I had someone different. Someone that was wearing a lot of scented products, which was bothering me a bit. I'm not used to overly scented products in a medical setting anymore. You don't even need it that much out in the world. And her style and her touch were very, very different. It was, wow, not bad, just different. She did her work completely silent. The only words were chin up, turn to the right, move your tongue, open wider. I don't think I have ever had a dental hygienist concentrate so completely on her work, and it was unnerving me. Generally, they're chatty, and then you want to answer, and they take away the equipment so that you can respond. I mean, that's my experience. Maybe it's not yours. I was a bit uncomfortable, not enough to complain about the sense part, which was the only complainable thing, but enough that I thought I needed to make sure that I never had her again. Then, when it was all done, and I was getting my purse, she smiled and she told me how much she loved my top and the designs on it, which reminded her of India, of home. And it wasn't a light compliment. It was this whole conversation about my sweaters that are made in Nepal and where I bought them and where in Halifax I thought she might find similar. The loose conversation that we might have had chatting if she wasn't so concentrated on her work. And I left and I got my car. And I rather pragmatically said to myself, oh, that scent thing isn't important because I didn't need my puffer, so I shouldn't really complain. And she's really nice. It's okay if I get her again. A connection was made absolutely without her knowledge, and her easy kindness took me to a different place. Nice positive reinforcement for my day. That was the beginning of a busy day, by the way, and it was nice to have that beginning to my day. The hymn we just sang reminds us, though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire and have not love, my words are vain. And it comes from a passage in the Christian Bible, Corinthians 13, the one that goes on to tell us all the things that love is and what love isn't. It starts off by saying that no matter how passionate a public speaker one might be, if you don't come from a place of love, what you say is rubbish. I once had to perform a series of public speaking events, and it was really, really awful. I felt like a hypocrite because of what I was doing, and I hated both myself for the circumstances and the power structure forcing me into this untenable situation. I really don't have words. I tried to write the story, and I really don't have words. You must understand that I felt the worst I've ever felt in my entire life that week. I was the president of a large union, and I was only weeks away from retiring. And we were in bargaining, and the employer had put us in a terrible position, asking for a major concession surrounding pension, of all things. A strike about pension language that couldn't start until I was safely in Nova Scotia collecting mine. It was necessary to hold a strike vote, and it was essential that I convince hundreds of people to give the negotiating committee a strike mandate. And a strike mandate doesn't always mean a strike. It's usually just one tool of support to your negotiating committee, but in this instance, it felt very, very different. Over the course of a week, I went to speak at lunchtime every day, lunchtime and after work, all over the campus to different groups, to vote for a strike that I wouldn't be there for. And one day I was speaking to a huge group because it was in the library. And I made my presentation that I made every day, and I waited for questions. And somebody stood up and I said, Pam, what do you really think the likelihood is that we're actually going to have to go on strike? And I looked at these faces, and I answered that I thought that it was very high. I thought that it was probably 100%. And my voice caught, and my eyes started leaking, and then I felt like a fool because I apparently wasn't enough as an adult woman to deliver a message clearly and concisely without emotion. And I felt horrible. And I was kind of mentally rebuking myself for not being able to speak with bravest fire. And after it was all over and I was gathering up my belongings, several people came up to me, and each one of them individually told me that it was my little breakdown that convinced them, and that they were all going to vote yes, and they were going to tell their colleagues to do so. And it taught me a lesson. They told me that they saw my weakness as strength and understood that it came from me caring deeply, from a place of love and caring. I made this connection with those people. The strike mandate vote was 93%. And they ended up going on strike, and they ended up with ridiculously strong pension language, stronger than we had before because the employer was an idiot. Thinking of Thanksgiving, when my children were young, we would go around the table and each person had to say one thing they were grateful for. And we found that each of us, in giving thanks, were more often thanking an individual for something, recognizing that person for some sort of special contribution. A sincere compliment, I like to call it. The purpose of the ritual was helping to create an atmosphere of not taking for granted, but those sincere compliments, when they came my way, piled up in my memory, in my heart. And that top I wore to the dentist the other day is one for which I have received many compliments over the years. The one I wear now is actually a replacement for one I bought nearly 15 years ago. And that first one I bought because it made me happy. I loved it, but I'm kind of quirky sometimes. And I remember wondering, I wanted to wear it all the time, but I wondered about its reception in the various parts of my life. You know, can I wear this to work? I worked at a university, but even so. But I've worn this sweater everywhere, to work, to church, to the theater, through US Customs. Like honestly, an American customs officer going, I really like your top. Oh, it's like the magic sweater. There used to be a teenage girl's book, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I have the traveling sweater, I think. And I've received all of those compliments, those positive reinforcements from people close to me, as well as complete strangers. And each one of them, it sounds silly, but they layer on the previous ones until I only have to put on that sweater to feel fully confident and perfectly me. Like this sweater is layers of the memory of kindness. And we are an intentional community, a community of faith, however each one of us defines that. A community of connections, and at the core of this is love. And what is love? Unusual in this room, we can look back to Corinthians, which tells us that love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. It protects, trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. So let us be a loving community, a community of compliments, connections, and kindness, rather more than a community of complaints. And let us sing together the third and final verse of hymn 34, our words being our prayer.
Thank you, Pam. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long will be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are freed.
Oh, Mary Lou are going to be brave and do congregational response now. Again, you do need to come up and speak to the microphone, or we'll bring the microphone to you.
It's on.
Tree pad.
Go forward, shoot that so that people on the screen.
If you come a little further, people can see you.
And face that way, tree pad.
The camera's right here.
It's your best angle, sweetheart.
There we go.
Like this, though?
No, it's good, Amy.
It's good.
He's in.
There we go.
Well, this is a compliment meant for Pam. I was going to say this in the beginning, in the joys and concerns part, but I thought I already had given you a compliment. I did not want to embarrass you too much. But I wanted to add that I really enjoyed your president's letter, the current newsletter. And what I liked about it was that you told a story about the place where you grew up. I don't remember the details of that place, but it was very nice to hear about the place where you grew up and the memories that brought up in your mind. So it was a very nice job of writing. I think we have a budding writer in our midst.
Is there anybody online, Paul? Who has a word?
Jump up.
Get into the camera then.
Get into the camera then. There we go. There's the camera. Partly to getting up because I really like this part of our historic service, the idea that there's a response from the people present, because it's so, I mean, it's an interesting group of people we have here with a whole range of perspectives and experiences. And as the old saying goes, there's one sermon preached, but 40 sermons heard. And everybody takes a different thing and filters it through their own consciousness. And when you have this general discussion, you think, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that one, but it really enlivens it for me. It's like you take a bottle and you throw it in the sea, and then people read it in different places and it means different things to them. So I really like this part. But coming back to the actual service, I really would like to second Sripad's comment that I really loved your little story. And it connects because it was real, and it was you, and it would have really connected with kids, and it connected with all the rest of it. And the part and the general theme that we don't in our lives typically say enough nice things to each other. We may think them, but positive reinforcement to other people is not enough of it out there. But one of the barriers is sometimes how it's going to be received. And in particular, the example I'd use is complimenting other people on their appearance. Because it's not, I'm often in the situation where there's somebody in front of me who I know that they took a lot of work to get to look that nice, but if that's a female person, I don't know that I really want to say, oh, you're looking, that's a really great outfit, right? If it's a guy, a colleague who's male, I can say, hey man, that's a smart suit you got on today, and I could do it without having to worry about being misinterpreted. But even though even some of my colleagues really dress up really well, and some of them don't bother much. But I don't comment on any of their appearances or the appearances of students, because I really don't want it to be misinterpreted. And there are these barriers out there to say. I mean, they work really hard on it, and if they painted a really nice painting with the same amount of effort, you could compliment them on that. But you can't compliment on appearance all the time. So, which is, I think, a pity sometimes.
Thank you, Lars. We used to do congregational talkbacks pretty regularly and then got out of that habit.
Oh, Mary Ellen, you go first.
I have two things I'd like to say, two at least. Pam, it was a wonderful service. And you and Mary Lou always do a good job. And I love coming back to Halifax via Zoom. The other thing is I want to congratulate you, Mary Lou, for this book you've written. And I'd really like to know how I could get a copy. And you and Mary Lou always do a good job. And I love coming back to Halifax.
We heard some of it, but there's a Hello?
I'm here.
Hello? I know, but he turned my mic off.
Your mic is on.
Hello, hello. There we go. We heard some of that, Mary Ellen, but we have a delayed response here. But yeah, thank you for what we did here. Okay, I just wanted to say that out of all the lay-led services, this one really hit me because of kind of the reflection we have about love. And maybe it's because Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, but I really like how you all put this together. And yeah, the story, it added a special touch. And I think it would be really nice to have, like, every single time we have a service, maybe like, because we're so diverse here, maybe to have a little story from your childhood or something like that. I don't know. It added a warm touch.
That seems to be it. All the response that anybody wants to make.
Well, we're having technical difficulties here.
You just have to press this button here.
The system is set up much better.
Hey, hello? No, okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't think you could hear me. I actually put my hand up to say turn up the volume, but and I couldn't get rid of it. But yes, I think it was a lovely service. Pam, I loved your sweater story. And I even think I know which sweater it is. So
Yeah, sure you do.
that was lovely. Thank you.
Community is made possible by the offering of our individual skills, commitments, and gifts. The truth is that we need each other and money to survive, and yet nobody's worth and dignity is anyway measured by the amount of money that they have or don't have to give. So during the offering, we invite you to offer what you can, if you can, to support this sanctuary of progressive spirituality. Today, any undesignated money in our collection bowls will go to the Saturday brunch. As mentioned last week, if you would like to donate to the roof campaign, please put in an envelope and mark roof or comment thus in your e-transfer. And if you don't carry cash, you can donate by e-transfer to treasurer@uuch.ca. And our closing hymn is 311. Let it be a dance.
Obviously.
And you have to dance. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let this be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the word. And fill the sky with sailing birds. Let this be a dance. Let this be a dance. Let this be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let this be a dance. Let this be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let this be a dance. Everybody learn to bend or spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow in the wind. Let this be a dance. Let this be a dance. Let this be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time for cry. Take it as it passes by. Help me out here. Let it be a dance. There we go. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Yeah, you're gonna sing. Through the good times and the bad times too. There we go. Let it be a dance. Morning stars come out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance. saying, well. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
We hadn't sorted out
We're not
who's
done.
gonna do this next bit.
I forgot the chalice.
Some words to extinguish the chalice, which Pam will do. Since I lit it, she can extinguish it. Go with faith, not the kind that is called to move mountains, but the quieter sort that calls us to take the first step, even when the whole staircase sits beyond our view. And as we stride towards the unseen, may we notice that the way unfolds only as we risk walking it. And may we remember and trust that none of these steps are ones we take alone. So be it. I'm not sure whether that's on or